When danger strikes, what you do next could save your life. On this channel, we break down real scenarios and give you the tools to survive the unexpected. Subscribe to get out alive. Because knowing what to do might be the difference between life and death. Cold doesn't always come with warning. You might not hear it creeping up, but once you feel it, it might already be too late. This is hypothermia, the most underestimated danger in the wild. At its core, hypothermia happens when your body loses heat faster than it can produce it. Once your internal temperature falls below 95 degrees, 35 degrees, your vital systems begin to shut down. In cold, wet, or windy environments, this can happen in less than an hour, especially overnight. It's not about snow or ice. Mild temperatures can still kill if you're wet, exhausted, or unprotected. A rainy forest in autumn, or even a windy beach at night, can trigger hypothermia. Let's break down the stages. Mild, shivering, pale skin, numb fingers. Your body is fighting back. Moderate, intense confusion, fumbling hands, slurred speech. You stop thinking clearly. Severe, shivering stops. Muscles stiffen. The urge to lie down becomes overwhelming. This is critical. At this stage, many victims die in their sleep or never wake up. One of the most chilling signs? Victims sometimes start taking off their clothes in the late stages. This paradoxical undressing is a deadly trick played by the brain, confused by the body's collapsing systems. So how does it happen? Wet clothes from rain, snow, or sweat. Wind chill that strips warmth from your skin. Cold ground that absorbs your body heat. Inactivity that stops your body from generating heat. Once hypothermia begins, survival gets harder by the minute. But if you recognize the signs early and act fast, it's preventable. In the chapters ahead, we'll show you exactly how to beat the cold, how to build shelter, stay dry, insulate, and make it through the night, because knowledge is your first layer of protection. When temperatures plummet, the first step to surviving the night is protecting yourself from exposure. That means choosing the right shelter spot, and it can make the difference between waking up alive or never waking up at all. The biggest enemies of body heat are wind, water, and the cold ground. So when you're scouting for a shelter location, you need to think defensively. First, avoid open spaces or hilltops. These are exposed to wind and lose heat fast. Instead, look for natural barriers like rock outcrops, fallen logs, or thick tree lines that can block the wind. Second, avoid low valleys or dips in the terrain. Cold air sinks, meaning these spots become freezing traps at night. A slightly elevated, dry, and flat area is ideal. If it's raining or snowing, look for natural overhangs, like caves or large boulders, to help block precipitation. But always check first for signs of danger. Animals, loose rocks, or flooding risks. Once you've picked your spot, build away from water. Rivers, lakes, and even small creeks may look comforting, but the nearby ground is often damp and the temperature lower. Plus, water draws insects and predators. If you have no shelter equipment, build a debris hut using branches and leaves. Lean. Branches against a log or rock to form a frame, then pile on dry leaves, grass, pine needles, or even bark for insulation. Never sleep directly on the ground. It leaches heat fast. Use anything you can find, clothing, pine boughs, even your backpack, to create separation. Think of shelter as your life bubble, a microclimate where you can stay dry, conserve body heat, and shield yourself from nature's worst. And remember, the perfect shelter is not just about comfort, it's about survival. Once your shelter is ready, the next critical task is staying dry and insulated. Why? Because wet clothing can chill you to death faster than the air around you ever could. Water, whether from rain, snow, sweat, or ground moisture, accelerates heat loss up to 25 times faster than dry air. That's why your survival now depends on creating and maintaining effective insulation. Start with what you're wearing. Layering is your best defense. The base layer should wick moisture away from your skin. Avoid cotton, use wool or synthetic materials if possible. The mid-layer traps heat. Think fleece, wool, or anything fluffy and dry. The outer layer blocks wind and moisture. This could be a rain jacket, tarp, or even a trash bag in emergencies. If your clothes are wet, remove them quickly, especially if you have dry alternatives or natural insulation. No extra clothing? Stuff dry leaves, moss, or grasses inside your jacket or between layers to trap warm air. Use your shelter to help. Block wind with extra branches or reflective materials like mylar blankets. If you have a sleeping bag or blanket, insulate beneath it too. Heat escapes downward as much as upward. Don't forget your extremities. You lose heat rapidly through the head, neck, hands, and feet. Wrap your feet in spare clothing or even plastic bags. Cover your head and tuck in scarves or shirts around your neck. And beware of sweating. Moving around too much in insulated layers creates moisture that can turn deadly when you stop. Regulate your layers. If you're working, remove outer layers. Once you stop moving, put them back on. At night, your body becomes less efficient at producing heat. Every bit of insulation counts: clothing, debris, body positioning. Even cuddling with a companion or pet can help you retain warmth. Cold kills in silence, but insulation speaks protection. Once you've insulated your body and built your shelter, the next step is one of the most important: producing heat. Fire isn't just about comfort, it's survival. It gives warmth, dries clothes, purifies water, boosts morale, and even keeps predators away. But fire isn't always easy to start, especially when you're cold, tired, and surrounded by damp forest. So let's break it down. First, choose the right spot. Your fire needs to be out of the wind to prevent it from blowing out or spreading. Near your shelter, but not too close. Keep at least 3 feet of space to avoid accidents. On dry, non-flammable ground like bare dirt or a flat rock next. Fuel. You'll need 3 types: tinder, ultra-dry material that catches easily; dry grass, birch bark, cotton balls, even pocket lint; kindling, small sticks, pine needles, or twigs the size of pencils. Fuel wood. Thicker branches that burn longer build your fire in a shape that suits the conditions. In windy areas, a log cabin or teepee structure works well. Start small. Get the flame steady before adding larger pieces. If you don't have matches or a lighter, try ferro rods, which spark hot enough to ignite dry tinder; magnifying lenses. If it's sunny, battery and steel wool as an emergency method. Once your fire is going, maintain it. Add fuel gradually and shield it with rocks or a firewall to retain heat. Use the fire to warm rocks, then wrap them in cloth and place near your core or feet. Dry clothing or boots, turning items often to avoid melting or burning. Boil water if needed for hydration. Never fall asleep with an unattended open fire. Either extinguish it completely or build a Dakota fire hole, which burns underground with less smoke and greater safety. When used wisely, fire becomes your greatest ally in the cold. Surviving the cold isn't just about gear and fire. It's also about how you manage yourself through the night. This final phase, overnight survival, is where mental toughness meets smart body management. Once you've insulated, sheltered, and created heat, your mission becomes maintaining body temperature without exhaustion or risk. Monitor yourself. Stay alert to early signs of hypothermia. Shivering that becomes violent or then stops suddenly; slurred speech, clumsiness, or confusion. If you experience these, act fast. Get closer to your heat source, dry out, eat something high in calories, and insulate further. Stay slightly active. Don't just sit still in the cold. Light, controlled movement helps maintain body warmth. Every 30-60 minutes, flex fingers, stretch limbs, or do slow, low-energy movements like toe tapping inside your shelter. Avoid sweating. If you get too warm, loosen layers slightly and regulate your heat, especially near fires. Eat and hydrate. Your body needs fuel to produce heat. Eat calorie-dense foods like nuts, dried fruits, energy bars, especially before sleep. Drink small sips of water even if you're not thirsty. Dehydration reduces your body's ability to stay warm. Avoid alcohol. It lowers your core temperature and impairs judgment. Use the buddy system, if applicable. If you're not alone, check on each other regularly. One of the first signs of hypothermia is not knowing you're in danger. A second pair of eyes might save your life. Stay mentally sharp. The cold plays tricks on the mind. Keep your brain active. Talk to yourself, go over your survival plan, or repeat tasks mentally. Staying focused helps prevent panic and keeps you aware of time and temperature changes. Finally, remember, the night will feel long, but it won't last forever. The most important thing you can do is stay calm, stay dry, and stay alert. Your mindset, more than anything, determines if you survive the night.